wanted to talk about the entertainment industry in depth, and I want to talk about the truth. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors that go on in this field, and I just want to talk to people that are in the same industry that can shed some light on certain topics that maybe will resonate with you.
Okay, so we are back and I have the pleasure of being joined by voice contestant of 2018, is that right?
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, but not just a voice contestant really, a singer-songwriter in the music industry from a very young age, Josh Richards. Hello.
Hi.
Let's sort of start before The Voice. How old were you when you first started singing? And how many years before this sort of process kind of happened for you?
I think around the age of 10, I went into singing lessons. And I went through a number of different schools for singing, and I've been singing for, 5 years prior to The Voice. My first experience on stage singing, it was, I felt that I didn't perform well. So I didn't go on stage again for another 2 years. And then I just kept on singing every week, every, month, whenever there were open mic events or different events to sing at. And I entered into a competition and, got through the rounds and eventually won that competition. And I think I found a newfound confidence because there were so many talented artists there, and I had won, and there was no way I ever thought I'd win. And so halfway through that competition, before I had actually won, I had applied for The Voice. And yeah, that was kind of my life before singing. It wasn't intense. It wasn't like, making money off it. It was just a fun hobby and activity that I really wanted to better myself and better my skill, my craft, because it was a passion of mine. Primary school as well, like I struggled with not conforming to traditional male ideology. I was always different in the way I'd present myself and my demeanor, so I'd get judged for that and I would get labeled and put in a category. And I think singing was somewhere that you can't be labeled based on your voice. You can't be labeled based on how you sing. They can say you're good or you're bad, but they can't say, you're something else other than a singer. And so I found it really good because it was something that I worked on because I was never talented at very much. I was never very good at school. So it was something that I was working on, and I was seeing results in getting people complimenting me. And I was like, wow, okay, I want to do this type thing. I was literally in year 10 going to drop out of VCE and do music in a music school and just do music. And I think that would have been one of the worst decisions if I had made that.
Yeah. I'm interested to know because you are so, like, the way you're speaking now is just so different to the person that we saw on The Voice and even prior to that. Yeah. So I'm interested to know, what was your perception of this field before you went on? Yeah. And at what point did that change for you?
Yeah. I just had a really optimistic view of the industry. I think I had a lot of people pumping wind up my ass.
Is that what kind of made you kept believing in this so-called dream? Like, and what kind of things did you hear?
Yeah, well, I'd always hear like, I was a God's gift, I'm going to be, make it in the industry. I am like incredible, talented, one of the best voices these people had ever heard, this kind of stuff. When you're so young, like, it's just not normal. Like, you don't get complimented that often. Like, you can get complimented like, oh, he's a cute little boy, that kind of thing. But hearing those things about yourself when you're so young, it's an ego boost, and you want to keep that ego growing, as bad as it sounds. And then you finally get slammed down and you struggle to get back up because you've been praised for so long.
Yeah. Was that change during the voice experience, or was it that realization then, or was it after?
No, I think it was after the voice experience.
Okay.
Because during it, I was so excited to be on this, like a show that was kind of the big time. Like I was so excited that I'd made it. I was treating it like work, like studying. Like I would spend a solid 4 hours every day working on that song with my singing teacher online, and then would continue doing it by myself until, oh stupid o'clock at night. I had cyst in my vocal cord, so every day I'd have to wake up 2 hours before we had to get into the studio, and would take vocal steroids to numb the swelling every single day. So I could have done a lot of damage to my voice. And yeah, so I did enjoy it on the show, but once I got knocked down, it was hard for me to get back up. And I felt discarded by the show. They didn't reach out anymore. Once you're done, you are no longer like their main priority anymore. And it's understandable, like it is, because they have thousands of people going on that show every year, and they need to focus on the people on. But it would have still been nice to get maybe an email or a text or something like, thank you for being on this show, we really appreciate it. But it was afterwards when I started singing, and it was just gigs, and my voice was changing, and I wasn't liking like that change, because I'd always been such a high singer. And so then I was just losing that love for the craft, I guess. And then it's like, do I want to keep riding the coattails of the voice my whole life, or make my own identity,
When you say that, that's a really big thing. When you say make your own identity, explain that to me. Like, do you feel like you never had that in your career?
I feel like I had an identity. I think I was very over the top, over energetic, overzealous, but I think it was a persona, like, because at home I wouldn't act like that, but with friends and with others and on stage I would, because I wanted people to like me. But I don't feel the need for that validation anymore.
What became so unfulfilling for you when you started doing the gigs? What was it that just didn't really fill up your heart,
Yeah, I think singing's meant to be something really special. It was like dulling down. I was the 16-year-old, 15-year-old boy doing gigs, and I had to be not exposed. I met a lot of people who had been doing this for a long time, and they were numb to the experience. They would literally get on stage, sing, get off, done, which is professional, of course. Like, that's very professional. But I don't know if that's what I wanted to do, because every time mum would go, oh, there's a gig, coming up, you can make this much, or blah, blah, blah. I'd just be like, I don't want to do it, like, I'm so sick of this.
If you could go back now and, mentor your 15-year-old self through this process, what would you have done differently?
I would have told him to do exactly what he wants, singing wise. So don't listen to, people telling you, oh, don't do this high note at this part of the song, and don't do this because we'll save it for later, or we're not going to do it. I would say, do it. You've got nothing to lose. This is your persona. This is your identity on national TV. Don't let anybody taint it or try and, manipulate what you choose to do. I would tell him that to try in school as well. I'd be like, dude, you're not dumb at school. You just don't try, and that's the reason you're not getting good grades. If you tried, you could do well. And I would tell him to not worry about people or friends disliking him, because everybody is growing up, and you're going to eventually find people that really understand you. It's just going to take a little bit of time, because when you're younger, everyone's growing up and learning, and everybody is quite judgmental of each other. And I'll just say, just keep being yourself, grow up. Don't feel like you have to be this person. If you go home every day and you're going, oh my God, why did I say that and act like that? And people are going to think this of me, then why are you doing it?
I think people think it's as easy as I'll just apply and a lot of people say, oh, I'll just apply for the experience. But what are they really applying for?
Yeah. No, exactly. I think they just need to go in, do it. Like I did it. I have no regrets about doing it.
Yeah.
Do it. Like, absolutely. It is great. Like, it will be a great experience for you. You'll have your ups and downs. It is a life-changing and a once-in-a-lifetime experience. So I think do it, but don't rest all your cards on that one industry or passion.
Mm-hmm.
Have options, leave yourself with options, because I think everybody is talented in not just one thing. It's if they work hard at everything, they will be able to do it. Because singing, it's not something that you can just be good at. It's not something that you're just born and you are incredible. Humanity and humans, we always need to be improving. Like, it's just something we do. We always need to be. And that includes the music industry. So if you want to sing, you need to be constantly improving. I went from, a really basic singing teacher to a very emotional based singing school. And then I went to a very technical based singing school because I was trying to progress in each different field of singing to make sure that I was going to become the best singer I could possibly be. And I think that's something people need to focus on, because a lot of people just think, sing, release music, make a music video, boom. Sing, release music, make a music video, sing on stage, blah, blah, blah. But it's not getting you anywhere, because Australia has a horrible tall poppy syndrome where we like to cut others down when we see them doing better than us or doing something that we wish we could be doing.
You know how you said, bringing you down when you're doing well. Did that happen to you? And
I was a perpetrator of it as well. Okay. I was in there too. People would obviously do it to me, talk bad about me, but I would do about them too. I was no innocent, fawn in the woods. I bought into that culture as well. I was insecure about my abilities, and when I saw somebody who I thought might have threatened my abilities, it was as if tearing them down was a better option than empowering them to keep being great. And it's not healthy. It's not great, but that is another strange culture within this industry that I found.
And it's funny because we're all trying to do the same thing, which means probably should mean that we should be working together.
We do need to empower one another. We do need to stand with each other and help each other get gigs, get this, get that. But I think everybody secludes themselves to their little group of people, and that's that. Like, everybody makes their little cliques, their little groups, and they don't open themselves up to, many other people or experiences or aiding people.
What was the biggest disappointment?
I think it just, how foolish and false the industry was or is, was never something that connected with me or could ever connect with my character. And I think after having management and individuals like that who will tell you so much falseness, like they will look you in the eye and tell you how much time they're going to devote to you and then give you nothing, essentially, and focus on those that are making the most profit instead of trying to build the others up to then be making probably equal amount of profit.
And I guess what I'm hearing as well is that the fact that, through this whole time, you were sort of made to feel really special and the best. And then when it came down to the rejection of the show, obviously you said you got pulled into, some pretty big deals and, stuff like that, and things didn't meet what you were promised. Was that kind of the factor that was just like, man, this is messing with my head and my heart?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think I couldn't in order to better myself as a human being, I needed to remove myself.
If you were to fix the industry, like you had the power to literally fix it, what would you do?
I think getting rid of everybody's egos.
Great.
That was my issue. And as humans, I keep saying as humans, but we all have egos. Like, it's just a thing. But I think getting rid of everyone's egos and getting rid of the falseness. And I think with those two things gone, and with actual mentors who have your best intentions at heart, which comes under the falseness category, I think really aid everybody in being better people and better musicians. I think that is just the best possible way to fix the industry. But do I think that will happen? No. But I don't want to dishearten anybody going for the music industry. I just want everybody to think in their head when they're doing it. Trust yourself and yourself only. Do not rest all of your cards on other people. So while you may have a manager or a producer or somebody who's telling you, we're going to do this for you, we're going to do that, do some research by yourself and find different things that you can get for yourself. Find different ways you can better yourself. Find ways you could potentially manage yourself. You could, search up little courses. Of course, there are courses that don't require ATARs or anything that you can do at different universities, TAFE courses. And I think being independent is one of the best things that I could tell anybody going into this industry, because we're naive. We are fools going in. We know nothing and buy into these false promises. But if you go in without that ignorance, I guarantee you'll make it further than a lot of other people, including myself. I will always sing. And should an opportunity come up where another singing experience, arises, I'll do it. I'm not closing off that path.
Yes.
I'm just choosing my main path to be something different, but it could always detour back into that path.
Absolutely.
But, yeah.
And it's great that you're open about it as well, and just, and what's really been really good to hear in your story is that you're still finding yourself and we never stop growing. And you're admitting that, that this is where I'm at now, but tomorrow and in 5 years, I may be in a different place. And it's not shutting off the doors, but it's expanding yourself to a point where if you do return, you're going to return as a new person,
Exactly. 100%. That's totally what I stand for, I think. Allowing yourself to live life to its fullest, as opposed to living life with just one goal, one dream, one aspiration, when, we're humans, we want to achieve more than just one thing. We want to achieve, happiness, maybe a family, maybe, else, very diverse array of different things, So I think just limiting yourself to one thing is doing yourself an injustice. So just following the trend that every other person is following, and until you break out of that mold and you understand the trend that's happening, that these people aren't making it because they're doing exactly what you're doing, then you're not going to, unfortunately, be as successful and reach your full potential like you probably could.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for this chat.
Thank you.
This has been super valuable. I hope that this resonates.
Yeah, 100%. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Appreciate it.
I love that you gave me this platform to be able to educate everybody, or not educate, because my opinion isn't the be all and end all, but give them a little bit more of a real viewpoint of my experiences, as opposed to a lot of people's. Yes, it was good. Yes, I had heaps of fun. Yes.
Never give up.
Never give up. Okay, well.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you so much, Josh. Appreciate it.
See ya.